वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च मुनित्रयं नमस्कृत्य तदुक्तिः परिभाव्य च वैयाकरणसिद्धान्तकौमुदीयं विरच्यते। सिद्धान्तकौमुद्याः अजन्तपुलिङ्गप्रकरणे त्रयोविंशः भागः, मार्च् मासस्य 14 दिनाङ्कः। इकारान्तपुल्लिङ्गानां प्रक्रिया क्रियते। इकारान्तपुल्लिङ्गेषु आदौ औणादिकः इप्रत्ययान्तः वातप्रमीशब्दः दृष्टः, यत्र सामान्यतः इको एणचि इति एणादेशो भवति। ततः दीर्घन्यन्तान्तः नदीसंज्ञकः बहुश्रेयसी शब्दः, यत्र न्यन्तप्रयुक्तं कार्यम् अर्थात् हल्याभ्यो दीर्घात् इति सुलोभः, तथैव नदीसंज्ञाप्रयुक्तानि कार्याणि अम्बार्थनद्योः ह्रस्वः इति समृद्धह्रस्वः, आण्नद्याः इति निताम् आडागमः, ह्रस्वनद्यापो नुट् इति नुडागमः, तथा ङेरां नद्यां ङेः इति ङेः आमादेशश्च भवति। अपरश्च तादृशेव शब्दः अतिलक्ष्मीशब्दः, यस्य नदीसंज्ञा अस्ति। यूस्त्र्याख्यो नदी नित्यस्त्रीलिङ्गत्वात् नदीसंज्ञा विद्यते, किन्तु ण्यन्तत्वं नास्ति। नी प्रत्ययान्तः न अयम्। तेन किं भवति? सुलोपः न भवति। ण्यन्तप्रयुक्तं कार्यमर्थात् सुलोपः न भवति, किन्तु नदीसंज्ञाप्रयुक्तानि कार्याणि सम्बुद्धिह्रस्व आडागम नुडागम आमादेशाः भवन्ति। तेन अतिलक्ष्मीशब्दः प्रायेण बहुश्रेयसीवत्। It is almost completely like Bahushreyasi except in Prathama Vibhakti Ekavachana, where it goes like Atilakshmihi, Atilakshmyo, Atilakshmiha. That the other word would be Bahushreyasi, Bahushreyasyo, Bahushreyasya. So there is a reason why I am repeating this, though it might seem like every class we start off with this. It is because as we go on into Ikarantas, the things get very confusing. And unless we have this clear idea of what are the karyas which are and what is the nimitta, what karya happens because of what nimitta, unless there is a clear idea, we tend to get lost. Okay, that is why I'm repeating this often. So agrimah shabdah bhavati kumari iti pullinga shabdah, a very surprising form and perhaps one of the unique features of Sanskrit as a language. These pratyayas are, unfortunately, they've gone out of use. Today, we very, very rarely use it commonly, but there are so many pratyayas which give such special meanings to a word. Right? And those set of pratyayas are called, there's a set of 12 pratyayas. They're called as a sanadhyanta pratyayas, starting with san. Sanadhyantaha dvadasha pratyayaha santi. Ati vishishteshu artheshu prayujyante. It's amazing of how much meaning a single word can convey. I'm sure everybody must be familiar with the san pratyaya. Jnatum ichhati jigyasate, gantum ichhati jigamisati, jigamishati. Goes on. Patum ichhati pipasati. And you can add san to any dhatu in the sense want to. He who wants to go. It is called jigamishuhu or jigamishati. And he who wants to see would be called didripshate. Or he who wants to hear would be shushrushate. So on. You can add the san pratyaya to any dhatu to get forms. Right? And on the sun, again you can go on adding the 10 lakaras and it goes on. So that is why the world of Sanskrit vocabulary is very, very huge. So you have 2000 dhatus. To each of these you can add sun, and once you add sun, again you can go on making forms out of sun. Okay. Actually, sun is one of the most common pratyayas in that set. Along with sun, there are other pratyayas in those set. Like you have nich. Nich is also very common. You have young look. You have kvip and kyat, kamyat, and so on. What is the speciality of these things? The sutra tells sanadhyantaha dhatavaha. Whatever word which ends in any of these suffixes will become a dhatu by itself. We know that the original dhatus, they are limited in number. Bhuvadayaha dhatavaha. Only those which have been told by Panini in that set of Bhuvadi, which is around 2000 words, they are all called dhatus. They are the original or the primary dhatus. But you get a set of secondary dhatus by adding the suffixes called the sanadhyanta, the sanadis. Okay, it's a set of 12 suffixes. Whenever you add any of these suffixes, the resultant is also a dhatu, which we call a secondary dhatu. Okay. So what do we add these sanadis to is also a question. The sanadis, some of those pratyayas are added to dhatus themselves, whereas some are added to pratipadikas. So using sanadis, you can either convert a primary dhatu to a secondary dhatu, or you can convert pratipadika to dhatu. Okay. So both cases are seen in sanadis. And you find that once you have the sanadhyanta dhatus, again you can convert them back to pratipadikas. It goes on. So here he deals with a very special word which is called kumari. Kumari, as we all know, is a strilinga word. Right? Kumaraha, kumari. A young girl is called a kumari. Vayasi prathame ityarena kumara iti shabdasya ni pratyayah bhavati kumari. So kaumara is one of the stages of life. You have kaumaram, yauvanam, jara. So there are different systems of classification. Like they'll say there is balya, kaumara, yavana, jara, or there is balya, kishora, kumara. Different methods of classification are available. But in general, kumara is a young boy and kumari is a young girl. Okay. So in that sense, kumari is a strilinga. Ikaranta strilinga. But this kumari, the pratipadika kumari, is now converted to a pullinga pratipadika. And how do we do it? We can't do it directly. So the process is you convert it into a dhatu and you convert it back to a pratipadika. Right? So kumarim icchanna kumari va acharanma brahmanaha kumari. So, there are two nishpattis. One, kumarim icchanna kumari, or kumari va acharan kumari. So it need not be a Brahmin. He is given the word brahmanaha to show that it is a pullinga. It can be any man. Okay. Kumarim icchan, he who wants a girl. That is, he who wants a child. Like putram atmanaha ichchati putriyati. Similarly, who wants a girl child. Kumarim atmanaha ichchati kumariyati. You can do it. That is a dhatu. Okay. Or kumari iva acharan, he who behaves like a kumari. In what way, he has not specified. It depends on the context obviously. Just like you'll say he is behaving like a child. This is one special usage. Okay. So what happens when we do this is the question. There are two nishpattis. Kyajantat acharak vibantatva kartari kvip. Okay. So what you do is you take the word kumari, which is strilinga. To it you can either add a kyach suffix or a kvip. Achara kvip is what we call it. Both of these belong to the sanadhyantaha. And using these you can convert that kumari to a dhatu. The form would be kumariyati. Okay. And now again you add kvip, kartari kvip to that particular dhatu to get back to the pratipadika as kumari. So how exactly do we do this derivation? Very interesting. If you go to the Balamanorama, you see that he explains it very clearly step by step. Okay. For those who do not have the Balamanorama, here it is. Taking the pratika kyajantaditi iti arabhyate Balamanoramayam. Katham kumari shabdaha nishpadyate iti vivranoti. Kumarim atmanaha ichchati ityarthe supa atmanah kyach iti kyach. Anena sutrena kyach pratyayah kriyate kumari shabdasya. Kachavitau kyach pratyaye kakaraha sakarascha itsamyam prapnoti. Kachau kakaraha sakarascha itau itsamyakau bhavataha. Sanadhyantaha iti kyajantasya dhatutvat tadavayava supaha amaha supo dhatu pratipadikayoho iti luk. Kumari am ityasti. Kumarim atmanaha ichchati iti dvitiya vibhaktihi. Kumari am ityasmat kyach pratyayah kriyate. Ya iti shishyate. Kachavitau yakaraha shishyate. Kumari am ya. Asya am pratyayasya lopaha karaniyah. Katham lopaha bhavati supo dhatu pratipadikayoho iti sutrena lopaha kriyate. Kumari ya ityasti. Ayam dhatuh. Asmad dhatoh क्विप च इति सूत्रेण कर्तृर्थे क्विप प्रत्ययः विधीयते.
यः कुमारीम् आत्मनः इच्छति सः इत्यर्थे क्विप् प्रत्ययः क्रियते. क्विप् प्रत्यये कपौ इतौ ककारः पकारश्च इत्संज्ञां प्राप्नोति. इकारः उच्चारणार्थः. I'll come back to this. So you have quip, you have k, v, ip. Only the vakara remains. Vakare sati ato lopaha. Kumariya ityatra akarasya lopaha kriyate. Lopo vyorvali iti akarasya lopaha bhavati. Vera praktasya iti valopaha. Kumari iti rupam. In sentence, it can't get clearer than this. But in case we just see how it translates into the usual way of writing the prakriya. Kumarim atmanah ichhati iti vigraha. Right? Tada kim bhavati? Kumari amma ityasti dvitiya vibhaktihi. Kyach iti pratyayah sutram supa atmanah kyach. Supaha subantat atmanah atmartham ichhati ityarthe kyach pratyayah bhavati iti sutrarthah. Kumari am ya kachavitau iti uktam. Kakarasya lashakvatadhite ityanena itsanya. Sakarasya halantyam iti itsamya. You are left with ya, you and a. Right? Tasya lopaha iti kakara chakarayoho lopaha. Kumari am ya. Idanim asya am pratyayasya supodhatu pratipadikayoho iti luk pravati. So this is a sutra which takes off the pratyaya. The supratyaya, which when it is part of a dhatu or a pratipadika. Now this whole thing, Kumari am ya, gets dhatutva by sanajanta dhatavaha. Actually this step should come earlier. This whole thing is called dhatu by sanajanta dhatavaha. Since it is a dhatu, any supratyaya which is a part of a dhatu will get deleted. So we delete the am. You are left with Kumariya. Now this is a dhatu. Okay, you can do it like Kumariyati, Kumariyataha, Kumariyanti. Like you do patati patataha patanti, tatha asyapi rupani sambhavanti. But we do not want a dhatu now. We want a pratipadika. So what do? We add another quip suffix to it. To all dhatus, you can add a pratyaya which is called quip. Quip cha ityanena kartrarthe quip pratyayah kriyate. Kumariya quip. Atra kapavitau. Kakara pakarayoho itsamya. Kakarasya punaha lashakvatadhite iti. Pakarasya halantyam iti itsamya. तयोः लोपः व इति शिष्यते. इदानीं किं भवति? कुमारीय व इति स्थिते अत्र अकारस्य कुमारीय इति यः अकारः तस्य अतो लोपः इत्यनेन लोपः भवति. So it is a sutra which you will need not know the nimitta. It is ardhadhatuka upadeshakale yad akarantam tasya akarasya lopah bhavati. So you remove the akara, you are left with kumariy v. Asya yakarasya punaha lopo vyorvali iti sutrena. Whenever yakara is followed by any val, any letter, any vyanjana, it gets deleted. So you delete yakara, kumari v, and as usual the vakara is deleted by vera praktasya. Quip, I have always told you that nothing remains in quip by itself, it gets deleted. But the point in doing the pratyaya, it should be clear now. We've seen many cases where we do the pratyaya, delete it, and there is nothing, no visible change in the pratipadika. Right? But you can see here that there is a change in pratipadika depending on quip. The pratipadika, the dhatu we started with was kumariya. Now it has been reduced to kumari because of the quip pratyaya. Right? Now this kumari gets a pratipadika samya by kritabjita samasascha. Okay. We started with kumari and came back to kumari, but what did we do in the meantime? We have added a speciality to it, that it has now got a dhatu samya also. Okay. It was nyanta and nadyanta. Now we have also added it that it is a dhatu. It was a dhatu. From dhatu we have derived it. So now it also has the property of dhatutva. Okay. Is the prakriya clear? There is a question in between, but any questions about the prakriya?
Namaste. Prakriya is very clear. I'm noting two things in here. One, when you use the quip pratyaya, and you have not dropped the vakara right away by vera praktasya, but you are doing the karyam related to that vakara. That's one thing I noted. And because it is not smart to drop, everything drop and it's zero. Secondly, when you came to atolopaha, you were using the ardha dhatu or the vakara. It came from, it is not shit, it is not thing. That's why I think you are using that.
Right.
Am I correct? And then you are doing the vera pratyasya to drop it.
Right? No, I didn't get the question. Atolopaha says, ardhadhatuka upadeshakale yadakarantam tasya lopaha syad ardhadhatuke pare. So whenever you are starting, you do an ardhadhatuka pratyaya. If it is akaranta, so when followed by that particular ardhadhatuka, the akara gets dropped. That is the meaning of atolopaha. Okay. So why we do vera pratyasya later is because of that. There are some karyas which depend on the pratyaya being there. True that sometimes you can do pratyaya lope pratyaya lakshanam, but it is easier to have it there and show that it is the nimitta and then do it and then send away the vakara. Okay. We first do whatever karya which depends on the pratyaya. Tat pratyaya nimitti krita yani karyani ishyante tani sarvani kriyante ante vakarasya lopaha kriyate. That is the procedure generally.
Yeah.
So, is there any question? I didn't get if you had any other.
Yeah, I was not clear whether I understood it correct. That's why I had to walk through the process. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, there are a few more questions. In this case, because of kech initially, does naha kye apply before make it with a pratipadika? I don't see why naha kye should apply here. It is naha, right? Nakarantasya kyechi pare padatvam asti. There is no nakaranta here. And anyway, there is no opportunity for it being but anyway, it cannot be a pada till we, oh okay, do you mean to say kumari jasthite padatvam nahakye siticha? Probably. Is there any karya which is depending on the padatva? To think, I mean, if it is there, yes, obviously, and nothing else will be there. 1 second. So we have this kumari here. Nahakye. No, I don't have to think if we need it as in. There are some cases where if it were a pada before it, there could be some karya which is happening. But right now, I do not see any such karya which would happen if it were a pada and prevented if it were not a pada. Okay. So her question is, there's a sutra called nahakye, which says kezante pare or kye pare nantameva padam nanyat. So if it is, even though you're doing it on subanta, so since it is kumari this is subanta and this is pada. So but when followed by kye, the sutra says that if it is nakaranta, then only it becomes a pada, and if it is not, then it is not a pada. Okay. So that question will arise if there is some karya which would happen here depending on the pada samya. But right now I cannot see any such karya. So maybe that is not relevant here. Okay. And there's one more question. Okay. Finally, is Kumari a Pratipadika and Dhatu also, or just Pratipadika? It is a Pratipadika, right? But it also has the Bhuta Purva Dhatutva. Right? It's a Pratipadika which also has the property of Dhatutva. It does not mean you can add a thing pratyaya to this. Okay, so that is different. Kumariya is a proper dhatu where you can add ting pratyayas and make it kumariyati, kumariyataha, etc. But now the kumari that we have is not a dhatu as such. Okay, so it is actually a pratipadika, right? It is a pratipadika, but it carries over the property of dhatutva, and we use that dhatutva for some purposes. अस्तु इयम् एका निष्पत्तिः कुमारी इत्यस्मात् किं क्रियते क्यजन्तात् आचारक्विबन्ताद्वा इति उक्तं क्यजन्तात् क्यच् प्रत्ययः कृतः क्यजन्तात् कर्तरि क्विप् प्रत्ययः कृतः पुनः कुमारी इति प्रातिपदिकम् ईकारान्तं प्रातिपदिकं पुल्लिङ्गे अस्ति okay. So, there is a question. How is it different from Rama Shabda, which is also from Dhatu? True that it is from Dhatu, but Rama itself is not a Dhatu. Ram iti Dhatuhu, Akaraha Pratyayasya Bhagaha. Now, Rama together is not a Dhatu. But the difference here is you have Kumari is a Pratipadika and then you have a Kyach Pratyaya. When you put together Kumariya itself is a Dhatu. From that Dhatu, you have removed the akara and yakara, but whatever is left still is a dhatu, because the whole thing, the kumariya, had dhatu samya. That is why we now say that dhatu samya is carried over to kumari even after the yakara and akara have been deleted. But the Rama as a samudaya never had dhatu samya. Kevalasya ram iti dhatu ityasya dhatu samya asit, akaraha kevalam pratyayah. Rama iti samudayasya kadapi dhatu samya nasit. So that samudaya is not, it is not considered as a dhatu. Okay. Here, kumariya itself, the kyajantasya samudayasya eva sanadhyanta dhatavaha ityanena dhatu samya vidyate. Tena kumari ityasyapi dhatu samya anuvartate. Okay. Athava aparanishpattihi pradarsyate acharak vibantat. This is a pratyaya where you add two quip pratyayas. Kumari iva acharati ityarthe sarva pratipadikebhyaha quip vaktavyaha iti vartikena quip pratyayah kriyate. So kumari iti pratipadikaat quip iti pratyayah kriyate. Quip pratyaye kapav ito kakara pakarayoho itsamya vu ityasti vera pratyasya iti vakara lopaha. So kumari ityeva dhatuh. Asya dhatoh sanadyantaha इत्यनेन धातु संज्ञा अस्ति तेन कर्तरि क्विप् क्रियते. So you do achara quip iti pratipadikaat kriyate. So achara quip is a quip which is used to convert pratipadika to a dhatu, whereas kartari quip converts a dhatu to a pratipadika, with generally with no change or sometimes with some change which is happening. Okay. So sanadyantaha iti dhatutvat kartari quip tasya cha purvavat kritsna lopaha. So similarly, the quip completely gets deleted. Kumari iti rupam. Okay. So here in Prakriya there is nothing. Kumari ityasmat quip pratyayah kriyate. Tatra itsamya kriyate. Vakarasya vera pratyasya iti lopaha. It's still left with kumari. Asya tu sanadhyanta dhatavaha iti dhatu samya. Punaha kartrarthe quip cha ityanena quip kriyate. Kumari quip. Tatra punaha itsamya vera pratyasya iti vakara lopaha. Kumari ityeva bhavati. Krutadhita samasashta ityanena pratipadika samya. Okay, so here there is absolutely no change which is happening in the prakriti part. The prakriti part remains as it is. Only you add the pratyaya and delete it twice, and the change you have achieved is now it can be in end of the lingas. Kumari iva acharati. Pullingepi bhavitum arhati, strilingepi bhavitum arhati, napumsakepi bhavitum arhati. Idanim pullinga kumari shabdam svikurvaha. So let's go forward with Kumari, knowing that it is Ikaranta, Pullinga, it has Dhatu Samya, and the original Kumari was Nyanta, so this is Nyantanta, and since the original Kumari Shabda had Nadi Samya, we have Prathamalinga Grahanam Saiti Vartikena, Asyapi Nadi Samya Vidyate. Ubhayathapi Nishpattau, Acharak Kyajantat Kartari Kripiva, Kyajantat Kartari Kripi, अथवा आचारक विबंधात् परिकृति किं किं भवति न्यन्तत्वम् अस्ति नदीत्वम् अस्ति धातुत्वम् अस्ति तत्प्रयुक्तानि कार्याणि भवन्ति. So this kumari, this word kumari will get karyas which is depending on all three properties. Whatever depends on nyanta, that also will happen. Whatever depends on nadi samya, that also will happen. And in addition, whatever is dependent on a dhatu samya, that also will happen. So obviously we have seen what are the nyanta prayuktani karyani, nadi prayuktani karyani. Dhatatva prayuktam karyam kim iti drashtavyam. Kumari supratyayah kim bhavati? You should be able to tell. I have been telling this. Supratyaya pare kim bhavati? Satyam. Sulopaha. Nyanta prayuktam karyam bhavati iti uktam. Nyanta prayuktam kim karyam bhavati? Halnyabhyo dirghat sutisya praktam hal. Right? Hal ni up. Dirghat nyantat paraha sutisi ityetad apraktam hal lupyate. Iti uktatvat supratyayasya lopo bhavati. Kumari iti rupam. Kumari iti ikaranta pullingasya prathama vibhakta ekavachane rupam. Right? Kumari. Kumari au iti sthite kim bhavet? So what should happen when there is Kumari au? Usually what we do is iko enasi ityanena yanadeshah kriyate. Kintu yanadeshe prapte aparam sutram bhavati atra achishnu dhatu bhruvam yivor iyang vangu iti sutram. Chatvari padani santi achi shnu dhatu bhruvam. There is a typo here. It is not snu, it is shnu. Shnu dhatu bhruvam yvohu iyang uvangau. Achi iti saptame vibhaktihi. Korthaha achi pare. Ach ajadau pratyaye pare. Shnu dhatu bhruvam yvohu. Yvohu. Yiv iti ikaraha ukaraha yu iti bhavati. Tasya shashthi dvivachane yvohu. Guru ityasya yatha gurvoho tatha yu ityasya yivoho. Ikarascha ukarascha yu tayoho yivoho. Ikara ukarayoho. Kesham ikara ukarayoho shnu dhatu bhruvam. Shnu iti pratyayah. Vikarana pratyayah. Swadibhyah shnuhu. So any dhatu which comes in the swadi gana, the fifth gana, will get shnu as the vikarana pratyaya. You have su, it becomes sunoti. You have dhu, it becomes dhunoti. So wherever you hear that no, it is the shnu pratyaya. Shnu dhatu. Dhatoho ikaraha ukaraha athava bhruvam. Bhru shabdasya ukaraha. Etayoho yang uvang adesho bhavataha. Ikarasya sthane yang iti adeshah bhavati. Ukarasya sthane uvang iti adeshah bhavati. Angasya ityadhikaraha. Shnu pratyayantasya ivarna uvarnantasya dhatoho Bhru ityasya changasya yang umangau staha ajadau pratyaye pare. All words are in the sutra itself. There is no anuvritti except the angadhikara. So the meaning is very obvious. Shnu pratyayantasya. If there is any word which is ending in shnu pratyaya. So that we will see only in tingantas. So forget about it now. Ivarna uvarnantasya dhatoho. Any dhatu which is ending in ikara or ukara. And bhru. For the word bhru. We are currently not dealing with bhru, so forget that also. We have to concentrate now on only this. Ivarna uvarnantasya dhatoho. Yadi dhatuhu ivarnantaha uvarnanto va bhavati. Adantasya angasya iyang uvangau staha. Iyang uvang iti adesho bhavataha ajadau pratyaye pare. When followed by an ajadi pratyaya. Now we have Kumari, which is an ikaranta dhatu. Right? Since it has dhatutva, it is a dhatu which is ending in ikara. Ivarnanta dhatoho. Iyang uvang ityatra kim bhavet? Nicha iti antadeshaha. So both these, natara is, they replace the ending of this. That is, it will replace either e or u. Antaratamyat ehe iyang oho uvang. Iyang ityatra ikaraha asti. So ikarasya sthane iyang iti adeshah kriyate. Ukarasya sthane uvang iti adeshah. Iti yangi prapte. So by this we now have Kumari au. Kumari iti ivarnantaha dhatuhu. Tadantasya angasya ajadau pratyaye pare. Au iti pratyaye pare. iyang ityadeshah bhavati. So we should get the e should be replaced by iyang. There should have been iyan, but overruling iyan, we have pratishedhe param karyam. So we have achishnu dhatu bhruvam vivor iyangongau ityanena iyang adeshah prapnoti iti iyangi prapte. But actually iyang does not occur because there is another sutra which will overrule this sutra. Any questions about this sutra? No? Okay. Eranekacho sanyoga purvasya. So far, yan was the easiest of sandhis because there is only one sutra which ever deals with yan sandhi, which was eco energy. For any other thing, we had many sutras or vartikas or all. Yan, there was only one sutra, but this is the second one. Eranekacho asanyoga purvasya. Ehe anekachaha asanyoga purvasya. Iti padatrayam vidyate. Angasya ityadhikaraha. Ino yan iti sutrat yan iti vartate. Achishna dhatu bhruvam vivor iyanguvangau ityatah dhatuhu iti anuvartate. Kaha arthaha? Dhat pavayava sanyoga purvo na bhavati yaha ivarnaha tadanto yo dhatuhu tasya anekachaha angasya yan syat ajadau pratyaya pare. Okay. So there is dhatu and there is vibhakti viparyaya. There is lot of circus which has happened in deriving this particular sutra because it is very exact. Okay. Ajadau pratyaya pare. We'll go from the end. Ajadau pratyaya pare. When followed, excuse me. Okay. Ajadau pratyaya pare yan bhavati. When followed by ajadi pratyaya. When dhatvavayava sanyoga purvo na bhavati yaha ivarnaha. Ivarnaha tadanto yo dhatuhu. There is a dhatu which is ending in ikara. And before the ikara, there should not be a sanyoga. Okay. For example, let me say there is a dhatu which is called shri. Okay. Shri iti dhatuhu. Tatra kim asti? Shakara rephayo sanyogaha. Sanyoganantaram ivarnaha. Okay. So tadrisham na bhavet. Dhatvavayava sanyoga purvaha na bhavati yaha ivarnaha. Yatra ivarnasya dhatvavayava sanyoga purvatvan nasti. Tadantaha yaha dhatuhu. Tadrishaha yaha ivarnaha. Tadantaha yo dhatuhu. Tadantasya anekachongasya. Now that dhatu should be at the end of an anga which is anekach. Tasya yand syat ajadau pratyaye pare. We see our this and see kumari au ityasti. Kimasti atra I ivarnantaha dhatuh asti. Right? The first question is there should be a dhatu which is ending in ikara. And there should not be a sanyoga preceding the ikara. Kumari iti repha eva asti. Sanyogaha nasti. So that's the second condition. The ikara should not be preceded by a sanyoga. And then the anga which is ending in that dhatu should be anekach. Kumari ityasti. Bahavaha acha santi. Ukaraha, akaraha, ikaraha. Iti trayaha acha santi ange. Tasmat kumari iti anekataha angasya tasya yan bhavati ajadau pratyaya pare. Au aukaradau pratyaya pare asya angasya yanadesho bhavati. Iti sutrarthaha. Clear? Ivarnaha ikaraha ivarnantaha dhatuh asanyoga purvaha. Sanyogaha ivarnat purvatvena na bhavet. Anekach angam syat. Kumari iti ange trayaha achasanti tena idam anekach angam tadrishasya angasya yanadesho bhavati. So initially we got eco-energy. We should have applied eco-energy, but overruling eco-energy, there was achishnu dhatu bhumam yoryangau, which would have given an iyang adesha. But overruling that iyang, again there is yan, but by a different sutra, eraneka acho sanyoga purvasya. Yes. So yadi dhatutvam asti. So this is the karya which is dependent on dhatutva. Right? Kim bhavati? Yanadeshah bhavati. एरनेकाचो संयोगपूर्वस्य इति सूत्रेण कुमारी कुमार्यौ कुमार्यः सर्वत्र अस्मिन् शब्दे wherever there is an option for yan there will be yan but the sutra is एरनेकाचो संयोगपूर्वस्य कुमार्यौ कुमार्यः उभयत्रापि अनेनैव yan हे कुमारी सु किं भवति अत्र हे कुमारी सु what will happen? No dirgha, but how? Kim sutram? You say it will be He Kumari. Kena sutrena? Rupam samichinam. He Kumari. Ambarthanadyor hrasvaha. Ambarthanam nadyantanam. That is why I kept repeating. You have to remember what are all the different properties that the word possesses. One thing, it has nyantatva, then it has naditva. Naditvam nimitti kritya ambarthanadyor hrasvaha ityanena hrasvadeshah bhavati. Sambuddhau parataha ambarthanam nadyantanam cha hrasvah syat. Hrasvah syat. He Kumari. So, tataha hrasve krite
here eng hrasvat sambuddhehe would apply.
Eng hrasvat sambuddhehe. Hrasvan tatvat eng hrasvat sambuddhehe ityanena sambuddhi lope he kumari iti rupam. He kumari, he kumaryau, he kumaryah. The speciality of this yan is ami shasicha kumaryam kumaryah. This yan will overrule ami purvaha also. Remember, wherever eco-energy ityanena yanadeshah bhavati, tada kuma yatha vataprami am iti sthite, vataprami au iti sthite, eco-energy ityanena yanadeshe vatapramyau. Vataprami am iti sthite tu ami purvaha ityanena purvarupe vatapramim iti bhavati. Always, so far, whatever we have seen, everywhere, if it is am pratyaya, it is always ami purvaha. But एरनेकाचो संयोगपूर्वस्य इति तु अमिपूर्वः इत्यस्यापि अपवादभूतम्. नाट् अपवाद. विप्रतिषेधात् परत्वं भवति. इट् इस् नाट् एन् अपवाद. उभयोः प्राप्तयोः अमिपूर्वः इत्यनेन पूर्वरूपे प्राप्ते एरनेकाचः इत्यनेन यणादेशे प्राप्ते परत्वात् यणेव भवति. तेन कुमार्यम् इति रूपम्. एवमेव शसि कुमारी अस् प्रथमयोः पूर्वसवर्णः इत्यनेन पूर्वसवर्णदीर्घे प्राप्ते तद्बाधित्वा एरनेकाचो संयोगपूर्वस्य इति यणादेशे कुमार्यः. Ami purvarupam. So this is again, this sentence is from the Balamanorama. You have to see that there is very lot of cases where Balamanorama makes it very, very clear. So what does he say? Ami purvarupam shasi purvasavarna dirghan cha badhitva yangi prapte. So what happens first is yang achishnu dhatu bhruvam yoryango iti sutrena purvarupam purvasavarna dirgham purvasya purvasavarna dirghasya cha badho bhavati. Ami purvarupam shasi purvasavarna dirgham cha badhitva yangi prapte tadapavade eranekacho iti yani ami kumaryam shasi kumaryah iti rupam. Right? Kumaryam kumaryau kumaryah. सर्वत्र एरनेकाचो संयोगपूर्वस्य इति यणादेशः. Similarly, कुमार्या कुमारीभ्यां कुमारीभिः. ङे प्रत्यये परे कुमार्यै. कथं रूपं? कुमारी ए इत्यस्ति. किं भवति? कथं प्रक्रिया? कुमार्यै कथं भवति? आण्णद्याः आतश्च. अस्य नदीसंज्ञा अस्ति. पुनः पुनः उच्यते. नदीसंज्ञायाः सत्वात् आण्णद्याः. कुमारी ए इत्युक्ते आण्णद्याः इति प्रत्ययस्य आडागमः. कुमारी आ ए. आटश्च इति वृद्धिः. कुमारी ऐ. ततः कुमारी ऐ इति स्थिते किं भवति?
यणादेशः again, right?
केन सूत्रेण?
एको यणचि.
एरनेकाचो संयोगपूर्वस्य. So everywhere in Kumari it is एरनेकाचो संयोगपूर्वस्य इत्यनेन यणादेशः. तेन कुमार्यै. पुनः कुमार्याः कुमार्याः. कुमारी अस् ङसि ङस् इत्येतयोः आडागमे कृते वृद्धौ कृतायां कुमारी आस् कृते एरनेकाचो संयोगपूर्वस्य इत्यनेन यणादेशे कुमार्याः. सर्वत्र एरनेकाचो इत्येव यणादेशः. कुमारी आम्. पुनः नदीत्वनिमित्तं प्रयुक्तं ह्रस्वनद्यापो नुट्. नद्यन्तात् परस्य आमः नुडागमः स्यात्. कुमारी न आम्. अट्कुपाङ्गं व्यवायेपि इति णत्वे कुमारीणाम्. अतः कुमारी नि किं भवति? कुमारी इ सप्तम्येकवचने किं रूपं? का प्रक्रिया?
Here I think the Neram Nadhyam Nityaha should apply.
हाँ, very good. So ङेः आम् आदेशः भवति नदी आप्नीभ्यः. तेन कुमारी आम्. नेक्स्ट
Hrasvanadhyaponut.
No. Hrasvanadhyaponut. We discussed that Hrasvanadhyaponut will not apply. Why will it not apply?
Nadi Sagnya will not apply, and it is neither Hrasva nor Nadi, is it?
Hello?
Yeah. I am stuck here.
I think audio was cut for a short while. हाँ. So किं भवति? कुमारी
If nothing happens, it should be Kumaryam.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm stuck here with.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know. The audio was lost twice or thrice. Ha. Yeah. Kumari Okay. So, किं भवति आण्नद्याः आडागमः art paratvat art. So there should have been hasanadya ponute, but because it is parasutra, annadyaha will overrule ludagama. So we have kumari am ataschati vruddhau kumari am idanim eranekacho sanyoga purvasya ityanena yani kumaryam iti rupam. Kumarinam ityatra nadyantatvatnut kumaryam eram nadyam nibhyah annadyaha atascha एरनेकाचो संयोगपूर्वस्य इति अनादेशः कुमार्यां कुमार्योः कुमारीषु किं भवति इकारान्तः पुल्लिङ्गः कुमारी शब्दः कथं रूपाणि कुमारी कुमार्यौ कुमार्यः हे कुमारी हे कुमार्यौ हे कुमार्यः. So what are we doing here basically? आदौ ञन्तत्वात् सुलोपः कुमारी इत्यत्र ञन्तं निमित्तीकृत्य हल्याभ्यो दीर्घात् तृतीयस्य पृक्तं हल् इत्यनेन सुप्रत्ययस्य लोपो भवति इति एकं कार्यं. ततः धातुत्वात् एरनेकाचो संयोगपूर्वस्य इति अनादेशो भवति. Since कुमारी is not a pure प्रातिपदिका, कुमारी इत्यस्य क्यजन्तः क्यच् प्रत्ययः आचारकृत् प्रत्ययो वा कृतः तेन प्रत्ययेन सनाद्यन्ता धातवः इत्यनेन धातुसंज्ञा विहिता. कुमारीय इत्यस्य वा केवलस्य कुमारी इत्यस्य वा धातुसंज्ञा कृता. So we did we converted it to a dhatu. Next we converted it to a pratipadika by adding quip. Okay. Idanim samudayasya कृतज्जित समासाश्च कृदन्तत्वात्. Since quip is a कृत् प्रत्यय, samudaya became a कृदन्त. कृदन्तत्वात् प्रातिपदिक संज्ञा अस्ति, किन्तु या धातु संज्ञा कृता सा न अपगता. Whatever you called it a dhatu samya, there is nothing to say it is not a dhatu now. It was a dhatu, the samya will remain, right? So once you give it a name, you cannot take away the name unless there is something else. For example, you have Ramu-a. So that was the example I was Ravichandranji was asking. You have Ramadhatu, you add a ghai pratyaya. Bhuvadayo dhatavah ityanena ram ityasya dhatutvam asti. Ramu-a iti samudayasya कृदन्तत्वात् घञ् इत्यस्य कृत्संज्ञा अस्ति, समुदायस्य कृदन्तत्वम् अस्ति. Okay. Now there is nothing which has given the samudaya of ram plus a dhatu. Ram plus a has never been a dhatu, and that is why when we consider the pratipadika rama, it is not a dhatu. But since ram is a dhatu, even when it is part of rama, the ram part would be a dhatu. But we cannot use it because the samudaya rama is not a dhatu. Rama has never been called a dhatu. But here, when we say kumari, we do quip, right? Now this kumari got to be called a dhatu. Now we add quip and using pratyaya lakshana, asya kridantatvat pratipadikatvam asti. Kintu kevalasya kumari iti samudayasya dhatutvam api asti. Since it once got the samya called dhatu, even now it is called a dhatu. There is nothing which will prevent it from being called a dhatu. It gets a new samya called pratipadika, but there is nothing which says that dhatutva and pratipadikatva are mutually exclusive. Right? So it does not say that once pratipadika samya comes, the dhatutva goes away. The dhatutva, you should remember that the dhatutva is confined to a different samudaya and the pratipadikatva is for a different thing. Pratipadikatva is taking into consideration the kartari kvip. Kartarathe yaha kvip pratyayah kritaha luptascha pratyaya lakshanena tam ashritya kritadhita samasascha iti pratipadikatvam. Achararthe yaha kvip pratyayah kritaha luptascha athava kyach atmanah ichhati ityarthe yaha kyach pratyayah kritaha luptascha tam ashritya dhatutvam asti. So bhayam yugapat vartate. So both of them are present together. धातु संज्ञा अस्ति इति कारणतः सर्वत्र एरनेकाचो असंयोगपूर्वस्य इत्यनेन यणादेशः कुमार्यौ कुमार्यः कुमार्यं कुमार्यौ कुमार्यः सर्वत्र एरनेकाचो इत्यनेन यणादेशः. Again when you come here षष्ठी you have कुमार्योः सर्वत्र तथैव इति द्वितीयं कार्यम्. तृतीयं कार्यं भवति नदीत्वात् सम्बुद्धि ह्रस्वः. हे कुमारी सु इति स्थिते अम्बार्थनद्योर्ह्रस्वः इत्यनेन ह्रस्वः एङ् ह्रस्वात् सम्बुद्धेः इति सम्बुद्धिलोपः. इदं तृतीयं कार्यं नदीसंज्ञां निमित्तीकृत्य. ततः आण् नद्याः इत्सु प्रत्ययेषु नितां प्रत्ययानाम् आडागमः भवति. नद्यन्तात् परेषां निताम् आडागमः. कुमार्यै कुमार्याः कुमार्याः इत्यत्र नदीसंज्ञां निमित्तीकृत्य आडागमः. ततः नदीत्वादेव नुडागमः. ह्रस्वनद्यापो नुट् इत्यनेन षष्ठी बहुवचने आम् प्रत्ययस्य नुडागमः कुमारीणाम्. पुनः नदीसंज्ञानिमित्तेन ङेः आमादेशः. ङेरां नद्यां नीभ्यः इत्यनेन आमादेशः अण्णद्याः इति आडागमः एरनेकाचो. You should notice that in this kumaryam all karyas are converging. You have an am, you have the art, you have the yan, everything is put together, you get kumaryam. So this is what will happen. There is one which depends on ni, there is this four which depend on nadi, and there is this which depends on dhatu. Kumari is a very special word which has all this happening. And any other ikaranta word which you deal with will either not be a dhatu. If you notice, we have already seen such cases. If you went to Bahushreyasi, it had all these Bahushreyasi, these five. Yantatvat, Sulopaha, Sambuddhi, Hrasvaha, Sarvam Bhavati. Dhatuhu nasti ityataha yanadeshaha nasit. Eranekacho iti yanadeshaha nasit. Iko enachi iti yanadeshaha bhavati. Yatra pravartate. Atra tu amipurvaha Bahushreyaseen. Purvasavarna dirghaha tasmat shasonah pumsi iti bhavati. Right? If you go back to the original Vataprami Shabda, yaha adau adhitaha, I aunadikaha I pratyayantaha, it didn't have any of these. Right? It was not Nyanta, it was not a Dhatu, it was not Nadi. So none of these karyas will happen. What is the default when nothing happens is Iko Enachi or some common karyas like you have Rutva Visarga or Amipurvaha, etc. Okay. Exactly. So that is you have to remember it very clearly that this is not, here the Kumari does not mean a girl. It means a man who desires or behaves like a girl. Right? So then only you have all this complication. If you have the original Kumari Shabda, it is just like Gauri Shabda. Okay.
If you generate a similar situation like Putri, then Yerane Kacho will not apply.
Putri, exactly. Yerane Kacho will not apply. Very good. No. That's brilliant. His question is, if you generate like this, Putrim Atmanaha Ichchati iti krute kim bhavati. You'll have Putri. Then Yerane Kacho Sanyoga Puryasya would not apply because there is a Putri. Yatra Sanyogaha asti. Dhatva Vayavaya Sanyogaha. Sanyogaha asti ityataha tatra yanadeshaha na bhavati. Yanadesha na bhavati chet kim bhavati tadapi vaktavyam. So what will happen if it is if yan will not apply?
It will decline like Nadi Shabda.
No. Yan overruled yang, right? Achishnu dhatu bhavam.
Yeah.
Before yang ityanena yang bhavati. Putriyau iti bhavati.
Putriyau, yeah.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, so Kumari is actually the well, this is where you have everything, almost everything that comes in Ikarantas. So whatever we go further on is only to see which of these will apply and which will not apply and why. Okay, so there are cases where Sulopa might not happen because it is not Nyanta. The same cases where eranekacho will not apply because there is a sanyoga or there is a nishedha, so you do iyang, or there is no nadi samya, so you don't do these karyas. Okay, that is all. This is there in ikaranta. So we'll see those in the next class. येनाक्षरसमां नायमधिकं न महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः. वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयं नमस्कृत्य तदुक्तिः परिभाव्य च वैयाकरणसिद्धान्तकौमुदीं विरच्यते.